Chris, you stop ripping pages out of the book and get your feet off the table.
Eat my shorts.
That's it. You're grounded next Saturday. You want another?
Yes.
That's right. You got 2 Saturdays grounded. Are you done?
No.
Well, don't rip that. What is that?
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. That's what we're going to be talking about on the latest episode of
Heavenly Lady.
The Heavenly 80s. Take this off.
I'm so dumb.
You are?
Chris.
You're Chris. I'm Chris's dad, Fonzo. Welcome back to the second episode of the Heavenly 80s. The feedback to the first episode has been gigantic. Dozens of subscribers and likes.
15 subscribers.
That's
wow. Right. And 51 views and 13 likes. That's a
right.
lot.
Thank you for the support. Keep on supporting us. We have a lot of ideas for this show. And how can they support us?
Give us more subscribers.
Subscribe and
get that. Leave a subscribe button and hit the notification.
Ring the bell.
And hit the like.
And like it, please. Yes.
Thumbs up, boys.
That's right. So the idea of the Heavenly 80s is with every show we're going to be answering some of the unanswered questions of the greatest 80s movies.
Like you keep thinking about it, but you wish you could watch something that answer your questions.
That's right.
And we got you to share.
We're here to answer questions for you. So this week on the Heavenly 80s, we're going to be talking about
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club, the 1985 John Hughes classic. If you haven't seen it, it's about a group of teenagers who find themselves spending their Saturday in detention, and it is 5 young people, very different from different backgrounds, and 5 people who normally you wouldn't think would get along as friends, but over this one Saturday in detention,
they all became friends.
They come together to become unlikely friends, and I don't have your microphone.
We can answer 2 questions.
Yes, we can answer a couple questions, right? So one of the things that we want to talk about is something that actually comes up in the movie when they're talking, which is, so they bond over this Saturday, and the question is, what's everything going to be like when they return to school on Monday?
That's what the nerd said.
That's right, the nerd. So the 5 people, they've got names. So you've got Claire Standish, played by Molly Ringwald. John Bender, very fashionable choice here, Chris, played by Judd Nelson. Ali Sheedy played the character of Allison Reynolds. Emilio Estevez played the character of Andrew Clark. And Brian Johnson was played by Anthony Michael Hall. But you probably know them better as the princess, the criminal.
Oh, that's Criminal. And that is Basket Case.
Basket Case, right?
And that is Clock.
The athlete or
Sporto. The Sporto, yeah.
Yeah, athlete or Sporto, and
the criminal.
No, this is the criminal. That's Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, he aged differently. He doesn't look like that, a nerd anymore. It's a nerd.
Wow, he looks terrible. He looks different.
He was in The Dark Knight.
He was?
Yeah, he was so the news guy in The Dark Knight. Yeah, no, he changed a lot. Yeah,
we're talking
he's like more of a man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, so the nerd brings up, how are we? I think the question is would you say hi to me if you saw me in the hall on Monday? Yeah. And different people had different answers, and it got us to thinking, well, what happens come Monday, right? Yeah. At this high school? Who stays friends? Who
doesn't?
Yeah, who maybe ignores each other?
Bullies, kind of maybe.
Yeah. So let's go through it and talk about it. So let's begin.
What should we talk first about?
Well, you're dressed like him. Why don't we talk about Jonathan Bender?
The criminal.
The criminal. What do you think happens on Monday?
Number said, the Sporto? He was in the punching thing, and he said, Sporto said, are you in a punch thing? and he said no, he will or something. I think.
So like boxing?
Yeah, no, like what, like arm wrestling or something.
Okay.
They
Oh,
signed
wrestling. Yeah.
and maybe he's gonna sign in for it.
Oh, you think maybe Bender will join the wrestling team?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Should fight.
interesting. But do you think he could get along with other people? I think. Here's my take on Bender, right? Because I knew people like this in high school who worked so hard to give off this image that they don't care. But really, they cared about their image more than anybody else because their image was that they don't have an image. So that's not to say, I think Bender was a little bit of a phony, right?
He's mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I also don't know if he's gonna...
have like friends with him.
Do you think he could stay in school? He had 2 months of detention. They're gonna kick him out of that school. He was...
I believe, yeah, that could happen, actually. That could happen.
Do you think he continues to date the princess? Do you think that they stick around as boyfriend and girlfriend?
That is a hard question. But I don't think they're gonna be like kissing a lot. I think they're just gonna talk like in the lunch, kind of, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they sit down next to each other at lunch.
But see, she's the princess, and she talks about how popular she is. Is she really going to be seen with her friends and her clique of all the other princesses and the popular girls with this criminal, with this guy who is like the screw up of the whole school, who's always in detention, who's getting in all kinds of trouble? You think she really? I think she might
be
try
less popular.
She'd be less popular. I wonder if maybe she tries to change him, right? And she says,
maybe.
"Oh, let's go shopping. Let me get you new clothes. You really need to cut your hair," something like that.
Yeah, that could happen, actually.
Do you think he would be okay with that?
I think he would do it like he was like fight, like argue in the beginning, and then at the done with arguing, he said like fine.
And he'll do it. He'll change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think she changes, or do you think she's still like she's gonna stay being a princess? And...
Yeah, she's gonna be like a princess, so she's still popular.
Yeah. All right. How about how is
Brian?
Bender gonna be with the other people? Do you think Bender can be friends with the nerd? With Brian?
No, I think he doesn't want to do his work, so he's gonna ask for the brain to do his work.
That's very good. Yeah. So maybe the only way he graduates school, he finishes high school, is with the help of Brian, the nerd. And Brian is so happy to have any friends, right, that he'd happily do it because he wrote the paper, right? Yeah. So that's a good point. Maybe he helps Bender graduate high school. Let's talk about other people. So how about the other relationship, right? We saw a spark between the princess and the criminal, right? Claire and Bender, and then the other couple that we kind of saw get together was the basket case, Allison, and the athlete. What was his name again? Andrew, yeah. Andrew Clark. So, and there's another situation where maybe you saw somebody changing. Remember, by the end of the movie, she's got the makeup on. They dressed her all nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe they stay together?
Yeah. I definitely, because they really got into very well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they really liked each other.
Yeah.
Right? But do you think that she could stay the way she was at the end of the movie with the makeup and like can she be a girly girl? Is that her? And does he want that for her? Is that maybe the only way he dates her is if she looks like that?
Maybe. But I think she's still gonna steal stuff. Like she's lying to the spoiler because the girl keeps lying all the time. Maybe she lies from stealing like stuff from other people, but she's still dressed up, so spoiler like believes her.
Yeah, well, the lying was a big problem, right? Yeah, that she lied. But the other thing about the lying was that I think she was exaggerating how bad a person she was, right? So maybe she doesn't really steal a lot or do a lot of the things that she does.
I mean, she does less. of it?
Well, we saw her say things about herself that later she said weren't true. She admitted that she was lying, and it's because she was looking to get attention. She was the one person who was in detention who didn't need to be in detention, right? She didn't do anything.
Yeah.
She went there because she was lonely and she was looking for friends, people to hang out with.
True.
So maybe she forms, and in Andrew, I think she found somebody who genuinely cared about her, right? He wanted to know about her family, why she is the way she is. It's like they formed, they formed a real connection, and maybe that
it's
worked.
like a talking buddy, kind of.
A talking buddy, yeah. Yeah, and I think he also thought she was really pretty. So I kind of think that of everybody in the Breakfast Club, the one who, well, let me ask you, who do you think changed the most? Who was really a different person by the...
Sport, because he said he didn't want to be like the winner and everything. He was talking about it before, so I think he's not gonna be mean anymore. He's gonna break up with his friends or whatever, and he's gonna say sorry to Larry or something.
The kid who he what did he do?
The tape.
He put tape on him
together or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think he's the one that we saw the most change, the most evolution by the end of the movie was Andrew. I think he goes home and he tells his dad, I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe he stays in sports because he likes it, or sports that he likes, but he's not going to be pushed so hard.
He's going to be a good sport.
Yeah. I think he genuinely made a connection with Allison, and maybe come Monday, they go on a date. Yeah, they talk at lunch. Maybe they go on a date, something like that. They have a real connection. And I'll tell you what else. I think Andrew stays friends with Brian, the nerd.
Huh?
No, the nerd. It's Anthony Michael Hall, the brain guy. I think Andrew, the sporto, stays friends with Brian. Because I think he liked him. I think Brian came off as kind of a fun, cool, funny guy.
Well, maybe they're gonna be friends with Larry, and Brian was friends with Larry, so they're all
he was a nerd.
friends.
That's right. Yeah. So he apologizes to him. So maybe Brian is the connection to allow Andy to apologize to Larry, and then I don't know that they're gonna hang out, but maybe they're friendly. They'll be cool with each other. Yeah. I think Andrew, more than Claire, is willing to sacrifice some of his popularity because he genuinely likes these people. He made a connection with them. Maybe not so much Bender, because Bender, at the end of the day, was kind of a jerk.
Yeah,
and I don't know that you want to be friends with a guy like that.
Girl stuff.
Yeah.
Being polite.
Yeah, and he talks about how he likes having a lot of different girlfriends, and he doesn't believe in just having one girlfriend. So I don't have high hopes for him and Claire. I don't think that's going to work out. Him and Claire. So then we've got the nerd, Brian. Brian clearly, and he talks about it in the movie, would be happy to have all these people as his friends.
Yeah,
right?
Really.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's right.
Now the question is, who wants to be friends with him? I don't think Claire.
I think Claire. Yes, because she said it's okay to be a virgin. Remember?
Yes. But she comes off as the most. I don't know if I want to call her shallow, but I think her popularity, her appearance, her fashion is really important to her, and I think the people she hangs out with, her friends, would not be okay with her being friends with the nerd.
She ate sushi for lunch.
Do you remember Mean Girls?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
That's who she is. She's a mean girl.
Yeah, she really is. She's like all of those girls are like, I'm so cool. That's
right.
I'm shopping all the time.
That's right. And she would have nothing to do with a nice guy, nerd like Brian. I think Andrew, the jock, will be cool with Brian. Obviously, Allison is going to be cool with Brian because they're simpatico. She's kind of a nerd herself, right? And Bender, I don't think Bender's even around. I don't even know. He shows up at school on Monday.
I think he's just gonna be with Brian, and I think they're gonna break up with Claire.
Yeah, I don't think that works. All right, so let's talk about the other question, which is, so that's what happens in the short-term future, right? The near-term future on Monday. What happens 10 years from now? 20 years from now? Where would the Breakfast Club be today? What became of all these people?
I've got everything in my head.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I know the first one. The brain. I think he's so small, right? I think he's gonna make like something new, like Stephen Jobs like made like the phone. So he's gonna make something like new. Like he's like
to invent something.
Like invent something new. Like and he has a lot. He's rich. He has like a whole giant house because he's like he invents something new.
Yeah, and he'll be very successful. And if we can judge by what Anthony Michael Hall grew up to be, he doesn't look like a nerd anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. I think he ends up being the most successful, and that's an important lesson. Do well in school, study. It's okay to be the nerd. It's okay to be the student with the best grades, because at the end, 20 years from now, when it matters, you're going to have the best life.
Yeah.
And the shallow ones who just want to be popular, maybe not so much. How about Claire? What becomes of Claire?
I think she's not gonna be like, I think she's gonna work at the shop. She's gonna sell clothes.
Oh, like retail, like fashion?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know, I think she's gonna like have kids, but I don't think they're gonna, I think that she's not gonna make her house like too fancy, like try not to look like rich people, maybe.
Well, you know what's interesting about this? We talked about how she would never get along with Brian in high school, but when she's older, right, that character you would think would want to marry someone who is very wealthy, who's very rich, right? And
or maybe she wants to be popular. Yeah.
Maybe she ends up with a nerd like Brian in the end, because Brian's gonna make the most money. Brian is gonna be rich.
And maybe he's gonna force Cleo to be her wife for money, maybe.
For money, yeah. Maybe she marries for money. Who knows?
I don't know.
Now, couple things. I like Andrew. I think he's the one who had the biggest transformation in the movie. I worry about his future, because a lot of times you see it with these high school jocks who kind of peak when they're 16, 17, and that's kind of like, you haven't seen the show. There's a show called Married with Children. Al Bundy, right? Al Bundy was the star quarterback of his high school football team, and as a grown-up, he's just miserable, works in a shoe store, hates his life. That's kind of what can become Andrew if he doesn't expand beyond just being.
I think he's gonna be fat.
I think he's gonna be fat
because he can't.
He
stop,
eats a lot. Remember the size of his lunch?
He can't stop talking like about winning. Maybe he just always wants to be winning. Like he wants to do sports, but he's always mean all the time. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. I think the question is like how much of a transformation he made. If he really is a different person at the end of The Breakfast Club, then maybe he's on the right track to being open-minded, and maybe he appreciates that there's more to life than just popularity and sports and winning. And if he does become that person, then I like his chances better of being successful, because really it's very hard to become a professional athlete, you know. He seems very talented. Maybe he goes to the Olympics. Maybe he becomes a Major League Football star.
What about the basket case?
The basket case, well, you know what the question is with the basket case is, again, how much of that was for show? Was it for attention? And how much of it is it that she really has problems?
I think she's gonna be shoplifter.
A shoplifter.
And she's gonna marry the athlete, and they got kids and pretend she has a job. But like she's getting money, but she's stealing the money.
Oh my goodness! I hope that doesn't happen. But I could see them maybe. I think the best chances for each of them, right, in the future, is that they stay together, because I think in a way they're good for each other, right? And they bring out the best in each other, and they make each other realize that there is more. I think both of them had some issues with their family and connected in that way. So if they stay together, I like their chances. I think they grow up, they create a family, all that stuff, and are happy. If it's just a short-term thing, and come the next week they realize, I don't want to date the basket case or anything like that. She's too much of a weirdo. She's got the dandruff. that she shakes all over the table, right? Disgusting.
She eats her nails.
She eats sugar sandwiches, right?
Yeah.
She steals locks off of lockers. So if she really is that bad, maybe he stays away from her, and then it's not good for her. She might end up institutionalized. Who knows? I wish her the best. And then we've got Jonathan Bender.
I got this post. I think he's gonna live on the street, looking for like he get like a hat and like look for money and stuff.
You think he's gonna be like homeless?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, here's a guy who needs to change course, right? He can't stay the way he is, because
I think he's gonna stay like that because of his parents.
Well, here's what we do know, right? I mean, here's a guy who is on pace to not graduating school, right? And he's going to be a high school dropout. He's going to have to go find a job, whatever. Maybe he works on the docks. Maybe, maybe he goes into the custodial arts, like the janitor, and that's a respectable line of work. Maybe that's the best thing that.
Or maybe he's gonna protect the principal in the school.
Like a bodyguard or something?
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be ironic, right? He ends up like a bodyguard for the principal. What becomes of the principal? We haven't talked about the principal. What do you think happens with him?
I think he's gonna, I think he retired from school.
You don't think he gets fired?
Yeah.
I wondered. Well, remember he was looking through those papers he wasn't supposed to be looking through, and the janitor caught him.
And he's very mean to other people. So I think he might get fired, and if he doesn't get fired, I think he might get retired.
I agree with that one. I think I don't even know that he was that bad a guy. I mean, I think he was overseeing some kids who were really unruly and were misbehaving. I think he just be a professional. This is our new member of our set. This is our new bonsai tree. In honor of the Karate Kid. What's his name? The bonsai tree, Chris. After the bonsai tree. I think principal retires, gets a pension. That's it. I don't think he was actually all that different than a lot of school administrators at the time. So he says he thinks everybody thinks he's a swell guy. So we've talked a lot here, Chris. But what have we found out? What have you found out the most during our talk here?
Okay, we found out that each one of us is a brain
and an athlete
and a basket case,
a princess
and a criminal.
Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours,
The Breakfast Club.
See you next time on
Subscribe this video and leave the bell. And leave a like.
That's right. And we'll see you next time on the Heavenly
the 80s.
The 80s.